Hello there, and welcome to this series of videos for people who've got long-term health issues, including long COVID, perhaps a chronic condition, or those people who are facing disability. I want to talk to you about the tricky problem of denial. And in this video, I'm focusing on you if you are the one with the long-term illness or disability. I want to talk to you particularly around your denial of your condition or the denial of using aids that will help you. I have to say, I wish somebody had spoken to me about this a long time before I got to the point where denial in terms of using a wheelchair had significantly impacted not only my life, but other people's. Interestingly, I had a very different view professionally, although I delayed there, to personally. My view is that using an aid does not make you more disabled. Using an aid for me enables me to use my limited amount of energy and capacity on doing something much more interesting, something that fills my batteries. I started to use a wheelchair in school initially just to get from my office to the hall, or my office to a classroom, or to the canteen, because my sight was so spread out. And if I wanted to run my school effectively, then I needed to be able to be a presence there. So I started to use a wheelchair at school much before I started to use a wheelchair in my personal life, because the driver in school was I wanted to make sure that school gave everybody the most excellent experience I could manage. So it wasn't about me, it was about making sure I was doing my bit to help other people. The situation was a bit different when it came to me. I resisted using a wheelchair big time. So my personal life became more and more limited. I'd do school, I'd come home, and I wouldn't go out. And if people said, come and join us for this, I'd say, no, sorry, I can't, because I couldn't actually walk that far. I didn't have that amount of energy. It came to a head one day when I and 3 friends went to the most amazing gardens called Wisley. I managed to walk from the car to the kiosk where you bought the ticket. And they had wheelchairs that you could borrow. And my friend said, we'll push you around. And I said, no. I sat in that car park, cutting my nose off to spite my face for 2 hours. How silly can you be? I didn't see the gardens, I saw the kiosk and the car park. Now, as it happened, the next day, I took a single pill of a second part of a drug therapy, and I ended up in hospital for 4 months. By the time I came out, I was so weak, I could not manage around my house without a wheelchair. What I realized is that the wheelchair opened my life up. Friends would take me shopping, to the theatre. I could suddenly go on holiday. And not only did it open my life up, but it opened up the lives of other people that I spent time with. Now, I've had many clients over the years who have really denied themselves because they didn't want to use a wheelchair. And all of the thoughts that they have around it are ones which I had shared previously. What will people think? Will they think less of me? And particularly in the early days, when I was in a wheelchair, people would use that voice, would you like a sweetie? Or they'd ask the person behind me, what would she like to drink? Well, what I realize is that by using a wheelchair and seeing it as my chariot on fire, something that's an enabler rather than a thing of lack, I helped other people help me. I was talking to a client not long ago, someone with MS, and she was resisting using a wheelchair. And it not only had an impact on her, but her husband was saying, I'd love to do things, but I can't leave her behind, and she can't manage it, so then I don't do it either. And that's not fair. Her children were having a life that was absolutely governed by what she could do in terms of how they operated as a family. Once she started to use a wheelchair, the world opened up. Her quality of life was enriched, and so was that of her family. So I would urge you, please think about using aids to help you, not so you're a victim to those aids, but so you can then do more, you can get out more, that you can use that energy and that time that you save to do more interesting and useful things that enrich your lives and the life of others. If you are in denial, it's so difficult for the people who are around you. I want you to think about the impact that your condition has on the people that you love and the people that you work with. You denying the opportunity to use things that's going to make life easier has an impact on them. I was talking to another client, wheelchair bound, quite a big person, who didn't want there to be a hoist. No, I don't want a hoist, I don't need it. But the impact of the person who was helping them get in and out of bed, on and off the toilet, was huge. And ultimately, there was a danger that their intransigence, their denial, was going to mean that somebody else was physically hurt, certainly physically more tired than they needed to be. So do think about it. Time to be honest, not beat yourself up about it. And if you've been in denial, and I was there for quite a while, learn from my situation, please. Take on board those things that are going to help you, and realize I actually had more energy because my batteries were filled up, because my life was richer. So think about it and help you help yourself. Denial, it just keeps you stuck. There's lots of other videos to help you with real practical tips, and I would suggest that you get your carer to watch the video that is about them denying that something's wrong. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye-bye now.